Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special report from here at the Reserve Bank in Wellington, where the Reserve Bank has just announced it is holding the official cash rate at 2.5%, and it has repeated its view that it won't need to start increasing the official cash rate until the middle of 2010. Now that means we have official cash rate announcements in June and July, and that's the current outlook for when the official cash rate will start to rise. The Reserve Bank hasn't changed its forecasts on the economy much. It says it's seeing stronger growth in Asia and Australia, but that there are still risks in the rest of the world. The New Zealand economy is growing, but not quite as fast as it has in previous recoveries. Consumers and businesses are being much more careful about adding debt. And the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Alan Bollard, said in the press conference he was seeing from banks that demand was soft. It wasn't just a matter of supply, with the banks clamping down on lending criteria. Some other interesting points from the Reserve Bank's monetary policy statement. Every 3 months they reforecast for the economy. There is an inflation issue out there, but not one the Reserve Bank's going to act on. These are one-off increases in prices that are driven by government decisions. And it means if we see a GST increase in October, as some people are expecting, that the headline inflation rate could be 5% by the end of the year. Now remember, the Reserve Bank has to keep inflation between 1 and 3% over the medium term. But it's allowed a couple of get-out-of-jail-free cards, if you like. It can, quote, look through, unquote, those one-off inflation increases. And we're going to see an increase in prices because of the emissions trading scheme, particularly in power and petrol prices. We're also going to see an increase in ACC levies. Now, the two of those combined will increase prices by 0.6%. Once you add on the increase in the GST rate from 12.5% to 15%, it means we're going to see inflation this year, if we have a GST increase, of over 5%. Now, that's quite some increase. One the Reserve Bank's going to look through. It's still going to hit consumers. That will be a real issue as we go through the rest of the year. And finally, the Reserve Bank has talked about an increase in funding costs for the banks by around about 140 basis points. This is important because the Reserve Bank thinks it won't need to increase the official cash rate as much as it has in previous recoveries. The new neutral is a bit lower. But the net effect for people who are borrowing money is that interest rates are still going to rise up towards that 6, 7, 8% level over the next year to 2 years, because the banks, their funding costs have increased and they're passing that on to consumers. However, for term deposit lenders, people who are putting their money into the bank, they might see slightly increased interest rates than they would otherwise be the case. Well, there we have it. The official cash rate on hold at 2.5%. The Reserve Bank isn't going to increase it until the middle of 2010. That's unchanged. And we're going to see an increase in inflation, perhaps to 5% by the end of the year. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was a special report brought to you in association with the BNZ from here at Wellington at the Reserve Bank.